That's right. Is the sound gonna? Oh, there it
Okay, there it
is.
is. All right. Hi there, everyone. Welcome to the GameHounds.
Yeah, no intro this time. No, I
No,
can't remember what
it's
the intro.
it's a cold open.
Take out the trash, something like that.
Oh no, I can't. It's been so long. I don't even remember it. And you know what? We don't have an audio site today, so
Yeah.
we don't have to do that right now. It's just Nick and I for right now, but Edie will be joining us later. So no
Yes.
need to worry.
Edie is coming over to my place for like the Super Bowl to hang out. But she had an emergency, had to go off and do something. She'll be here in like 30, 40 minutes, I'd say.
I see. So that's why she's hanging out at your house. You guys are going to be doing the podcast there. You didn't
Yeah.
even invite me to the Super Bowl.
No, I'm
Wow.
sorry. I didn't. Yeah, I just don't like you enough to invite you. That's why. Yeah, it has nothing to do with you being almost halfway across the
No,
U.S.
no, it is. It's just because you don't like me.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, exactly.
you guys don't know this, but there's a lot of behind the GameHounds drama that maybe we'll release someday, and it's mostly just
Oh,
me and Nick.
oh yeah,
We're
the
very
text
catty.
messages back and forth. It's
Oh,
we're
that's
gonna
why I've been
sell it.
gone
We're
for
gonna
a month
sell
and
it
a
to
half.
Hollywood, and they're gonna make a movie out of it. That's how
See,
drama it is.
it's the only reason I've been gone for a month and a half. Nick said some shit, and I couldn't be here for a while.
Yes. So I'm now here to publicly apologize for the cattiness that made you leave for a month.
Thank you,
Yes.
thank you.
Yes.
This is
Whatever
actually
I
why.
said, whatever I
Yeah,
said, I'm sorry for it.
you
Yeah.
may not remember, but it's deep in my heart,
Mm.
not my brain, so I don't remember either. But it's there. I can feel it.
Yeah, I know.
But
I
yeah,
know. I shoved that knife in deep. I'm here to pull it out.
to be fair, AC Wraith, it was me setting it up, and I'm kind of a mess. So I should have said something.
Yeah. This is technically like the middle of your night, right? Oh, cat butt.
Yes, yes, definitely cat butt. Look,
Man,
huh?
that's not soot. That's
Opie,
Opie. Is it he or she?
he,
He got big.
yes, he's not
Last time
even
I
a year
saw it, he
yet,
was a little tiny kitten.
and he's not a year yet. But yes, he is a. Look at this good boy. This
Oh
chunkers.
yeah, that's a cat.
That's a full cat.
Yep,
My
that's
cat
a
Soot.
full grown cat.
She's still small and not here. So, but yes. Let's talk shows real quick.
Okay. Oh yeah. What have you been watching?
So much. But I
Edie's
want
not
to
here.
talk.
She can't stop us. Let's
I
talk
know.
TV.
Good. Have you seen? And spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen the show. But The Wheel of Time. Did you ever watch that?
I have not. I want to get to it.
Okay. I cannot watch it. It hurts me. I
Oh,
barely made it
really?
through one episode. Yes, I've read the books and they were my first fantasy epic. So they took my fantasy card. Um, so I have a soft spot for him, despite its problems. It's something I've been meaning to someday go back to. But you have to change stuff for an adaptation for a show, right? Like you can't just
Mhm.
do a one for one, especially that one. And there's problems that need to be fixed for that book. That being said, they changed so much arbitrary stuff to me that I can't handle it. It just bugs
Aw.
me. Hey there, bitters.
Hey.
Uh yeah, it gets under my skin when I'm watching it. It's like this would be so much cooler if they did this or this. Like what are the big things? And again, spoilers maybe. I
Yeah,
haven't
but like
actually watched.
you said you only saw episode 1, so it's just a spoiler for the first episode, which is not
I've
really
watched I've watched reviews for the rest of the season to see if it got better.
okay.
But in the books, it starts with a cold open of like the age before with like the strongest magic user, like wiping out his family. He's walking around his castle calling out for his family, and he can't seem to find him. Oh, and there's this other guy who's like talking mad shit to him, and he's like, "Hello, guest, how you doing?" And he this guy that's following him fixes him. You find out that he was he'd gone insane, and he had murdered his family and all his closest friends. And he realizes that anyone who could channel this male source, like the male magic in the show, is going insane currently, and is currently destroying the world. And then having like the grief of what he did, he essentially makes a mountain, killing himself, and just releases all his power at once, and he dies. And the whole point of this is that the strongest male user will destroy the world because they will go insane. And I love that cold open because you're just like, what? There's so much world building in this prologue, and it's important to the rest of the book to understand that whoever this male magic user is going to be a savior. They're going to be needed, but at the same time, they're somebody to be feared because of the impending insanity that they will eventually face. Right?
Okay, because what I knew about it is that it was a show in which only women could do magic. But I guess it's not only women, but it's just that magic always drives men insane.
Yes, and so women have the last several thousand years been in power because they're essentially magic users who aren't limited by insanity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's understandable.
Well, in the show, they did a thing where they were like, who is the dragon? Who is this chosen one? And it's among these 6 kids, men and women. And I don't know if it was just they needed some type of mystery or question for the show, but it takes away from this idea that, yes, it's going to be a guy, but you don't want to be this person. You don't want to, because you're a risk. You're a bomb. You will destroy this world at some point and tear it down. That feels more impactful, knowing that if you're the dragon, you're doomed to go insane. Does that make sense?
So it's like you have a group of kids that might be the chosen one, and the chosen one might destroy the world. And in the book, it's all guys. And so no matter who the chosen one is, they're always kind of this ticking time bomb. But in the show, by introducing boys and girls into it, there's the possibility that the chosen one could be a woman and could not destroy the world.
Exactly.
Okay.
That risk isn't as present, I guess. And that's my issue with it. It's not that the woman can't be the chosen one. It's that there's a reason it's a guy, and there's a reason it's bad because it's a guy. In this very instance.
They took out the ticking time bomb on the show.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, you don't even know. They don't even really get into explaining why it's bad to be a male magic user in the first episode, or even for a while. And it's that was the biggest kind of threat and world building aspect they just removed from the entire first season, and I just feel that kind of sucks. That draws you into it.
Okay, I can see that.
And then there's 1,000 other arbitrary changes, spoilers for the first episode. One of the characters they gave a wife, and then they fridged her right away. Do you know what fridging is?
Yeah.
They had him kill her on accident when she didn't exist in the book. The whole idea is this character is kind of like a berserker, and when he fights, and there's a whole story arc of him choosing if he could be nonviolent and what it means to be violent when he's this big, strong dude who gets into a fury while he's fighting. And so they gave him a wife to murder in the first episode.
I think that's literally so that he could have a tragic backstory.
Yes, so that he could deal with the fact that oh no, should I fight? Should I actually engage in combat?
Yeah,
that was necessary.
The literal definition of fridging.
Yeah.
Okay, have you seen anything that's good that you really like?
Probably. This is the problem with
That's not an encouraging answer.
this is the problem with just waking up and hopping on the show. Like,
Yeah, fair.
yeah. Demon Slayer. If you haven't watched it, it's great.
Okay.
Thank you for the link, AC Wraith. AC comes in with woman in the refrigerator. Nice.
Mm.
And then Bitter Plus loves fridging.
I mean, fridges are good.
Yes,
Just
refrigerating food is good.
Yeah, quality invention.
Anime wise, watch Demon Slayer. Have you seen Demon Slayer?
I've seen one episode,
Okay, so
and I've done nothing against it. It's just that I never got around to watching the rest of it.
you need to. Like, you should, I should say. It's a show that kind of has middle of the road plots. It's kind of generic in a way. Basically, a guy hunting down Demon Lord, learning how to fight demons along the way. But it's made by a studio called Ufotable. And it's amazing art-wise. Like, I can't even describe this. I wish I could, like, put something up on screen, but we'd probably get demonetized. Or not demonetized.
Oh,
we're not monetized.
yeah, that's right. Taken down. I didn't think about that. But from what I remember, it was like when they attacked the
sister
whoosh of the sword was done in like kind of a Japanese woodblock style painting.
Yes.
And so there's a lot of this like very stylish flourish to all of the attacks in a fight scene. That's what I understand.
Yeah, so like they have different elemental styles, and whenever they attack, that comes across with the sword strikes, even though it's not real. Like the artist said that like, no, there's no actual water or fire or anything actually happening. It's all just stylistic flourish.
Oh yeah, yeah, it just looks cool.
Yeah, and AC Wraith mentioned Ranking of Kings, and I think I know which one he's talking about.
I've heard of that. The only thing I've seen of like is a little kind of pudgy, cute boy sitting on a throne.
Yes, but it gets kind of dark and like completely abuses that art style. Like you think it's gonna be cute and like fun, but it becomes a Game of Thrones-esque like drama.
One of those shows.
With surprisingly good action. I haven't seen it, but I've seen reviews of it and such.
Okay.
And yeah, it's pretty cool.
I'll have to check that out. Just put it on my list of 100 other things to check out.
Right.
I will say what I've been watching that's good is the Peacemaker show.
Yes. Okay. See, I completely forgot about the Peacemaker.
Have you seen it?
Yes, I haven't seen the most recent episode, but it is fantastic.
Right?
Like
better than it has any right to be.
Yes. Like if you watch the Suicide Squad movie, you would not think, oh, giving this character the headline of a show would be a smart move.
Yeah, and I remember specifically watching that movie, coming out of it, thinking like, I don't want to see a show about Peacemaker. That character was an asshole. He was terrible. I don't want to see a show about him. But the show has managed to dig into why he's an asshole and to like get into the psychology of all that, while also like putting him through a character arc where he kind of realizes, oh, I have been an asshole. I don't want to be. What do I want to do? That self-doubt.
Yeah.
And it's so good.
It is. It's amazing, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't like downplay what he did in the movie. Like, I don't want to spoil too much, but you should go see Suicide Squad if you're fun with kind of raunchy, fun, like dark, gory action. Like,
I think it's on HBO Max too. So if you have the subscription to watch the show, you can see the movie too.
And AC's right. Like, it's not just dark. It gives warms and fuzzies too. I think it has an opening sequence that I think is a masterpiece. The opening sequence is the best I've ever seen, and I end up watching it over and over again just because of how amazing it is.
Oh yeah, the dance sequence is good. Also, the song is good. The soundtrack is great. I've been listening to it while working for the past several weeks.
It's chef's kiss, guys. Like, it's go watch Peacemaker. Understand that it is mature. It is very like
Yeah, it's
up
very
there.
raunchy, like very juvenile humor, but it because like the main Peacemaker and like his main super villain-esque buddy are like juvenile jerks,
They're
but
heroes.
eh. But it surrounds them with adults who understand, like, okay, we've got to put up with this idiot because he's good at killing people for this Black Ops mission. But then it does a good job delving into these characters of like why are they kind of stuck in this arrested development juvenile mode? Like what makes them
Yeah.
tick in a really smart way.
Yes, and like you do get to see a lot of depth to each of the characters.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, at one point, someone chainsaws a gorilla in half. Like, I add a context, but just watch it.
Oh yeah,
Not with kids. Do not watch this with kids.
no.
Just so we're clear.
What is bad? What I would recommend you not watch that I've stopped before I get to the last episode is the Book of Boba Fett.
I haven't seen it.
Disney Plus. Don't watch it. It's so not worth it.
I thought it was doing good.
I think the first episode had like a huge premiere, but then it kind of dropped off. And then the last couple episodes haven't had Boba Fett in them at all. And they've been the best episodes of the season because that character is so horribly boring.
Listen, he's always been horribly boring.
No, if you thought he was boring before, he was just like a cool guy in a mask, right? There wasn't anything to him. He was just like, hey, that guy has a cool mask. I like him. You can do so much worse than that. There's a way you can develop that character in a way that makes you yearn for the days when he was just a guy with a cool mask.
See, I've never been on the Boba Fett like train as far as like he's cool, because I don't find him cool. Like, I just don't.
Yeah, I mean, I was never like a big fan either way. I've always been like a casual Star Wars fan, but
Yeah.
like even then, just watching the show, it's just okay. He wants to be a crime lord, right? He wants to take over this city and be a new crime lord. You don't learn. It's like 4 episodes in before you realize, hey, there are other like sub crime lords that used to rule this city, like in a deal with the previous crime lord. Boba Fett has never talked to them. He just like shows up, sits on a throne and goes, hey, I'm in charge, with like literally no discussion of the politics, the economics, like the people, what the businesses, nothing, none of that.
Edie will be here later.
No, he's
Goalie?
talking about me. He's talking about me. I'm right here, goalie.
Don't let him lie to you. Edie will be here shortly.
Wow.
Something.
The cattiness from backstage comes out in the podcast.
Peacekeeper, I wanted to mention this. Apparently, when they first revealed the what's his name? White Dragon? White Wizard?
Yeah, White Dragon.
Is that it? White Dragon? Yeah. So when they first revealed his costume in like the first or second episode, a cosplayer was like, hey guys, we're going to go do the White Dragon's outfit, before they really got into who the White Dragon was in the show. And everyone was like, no, you don't want to do that. That's really, really bad. And if you're curious, the reason why I was screwing it up is because he's like uber Nazi, like uber white supremacist.
There's a reason he's called the White Dragon.
Yes.
That's not something you want to cosplay as.
Everyone was like, no, stop. You don't want to. It looks cool, but you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
All right, so should we get into games? It's been 20 minutes. It's about rough. Like, that's normal our setup time. I hope you have news, because I have nothing. I am ill prepared for this.
Yes, I had collected a bunch of news. I should cue that up.
Yes, just so if Edie's late longer, we'll have that set. So yeah, do you want to jump in first with your games?
Sure.
You're a bit long-winded. It's fine.
Yeah, actually, let's just kill time for a second while I bring up some gameplay on YouTube. Just, stretch it out.
Yeah.
Stretch it out. Stretch it out by not saying anything, just dead air.
Yeah, I'm just gonna let Nick stretch it out.
Wow. Okay. Sharing. I'm just gonna walk through what I'm clicking on. Yes. Share screen.
I probably should have opened with
tab.
What I'm doing.
Share the tab. Okay.
All right, there we go. Perfect.
I should make that full screen.
He really stretched out for us, guys.
Yes. I've been playing a game called Death's Door, which is on Game Pass. Uplay has a cute little crow who's a Grim Reaper. And what's kind of neat is at the beginning, you're walking on this street and you kind of walk up this staircase into a building where there's actually a metal detector that you go through into the business that is death. And so you're just like this kind of underling. You're just an employee. And like any task, you get assigned, hey, go take this guy's soul. So you go out into this fantasy land. But the guy runs away. He starts a chase. And he escapes through Death's Door, this magical, huge door that is locked. So in order to get past it, you need to collect a whole bunch of souls. So you kind of go on this quest to kill 3 big immortal beings in this fantasy world. And their immortal souls should be enough to open Death's Door, which will get you the ability to kill the guy you were originally meant to kill. And what's funny is, as you go through and you kind of get further and further, you go back to that hub that is the business, and you can talk to your coworkers. And a lot of them are like, wait, you still haven't gotten the guy? What have you been doing with your time? Get back out there and do your job.
I just want to say, watching it on screen right now, that is the cutest main protagonist I've ever seen.
Right? Yeah, the little crow
with an umbrella.
So the umbrella adorable. Is actually a special weapon you can get. Usually you can get like a sword, daggers, an axe, all the classic stuff. And the umbrella is just like, it does half damage. So it's just like, hey, do you want an extra challenge?
Oh, well, it is adorable. A little crow running around with an umbrella is great.
And so the game plays kind of like Zelda, kind of like an old school Zelda game. It's top down. You spend a lot of time exploring an environment. Each section of the environment is kind of like a little puzzle or combat scenario. Like in this case, you fight some guys, you go down a ladder. You fight some other guys, you go down a ladder. Then there's like a little puzzle that you might have to solve, go down another ladder. It's pretty linear. So even though like the story has me killing these 3 immortal souls, it's not like I can just go do any of them in any order. It's like, hey, you're supposed to go do person A, then person B, then person C. And it does a pretty...
Sorry, I don't want to interrupt you, but just how much would it suck if you were some immortal dude and you're like, I'm enjoying my life. It's chill. I'm not really hurting anyone. And then this little crow walks up and yo, I fucked up, man. And I totally am sorry about this. But to fix my fuck up, I have to murder you.
So
and I'm real sorry.
It kind of gets into something like that, where as you start hunting these immortal beings, they're like, wait a minute, why are you here? I had a deal with your boss, blah, blah, blah. And that's all they get. So I feel like there's a larger conspiracy in the world of death going on here that you have accidentally stumbled into because your chosen guy got away, which is an interesting, larger, bigger picture story to put into this.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's leading to something. It's not just, hey, go kill these guys. There is a conspiracy going on.
Yeah. like, what deal could you make that prevents you from like having to deal with death, right?
Hmm.
Like, what do you have that would give you that ability?
Yeah.
All right, but yeah, sorry for interrupting. I was just thinking about it, and it would suck. Like, just imagine if you're like someone walked into your house and like, listen, I'm sorry, but I fucked up on the paperwork, and now you have to leave. Like,
Hmm.
just nothing you've done, like nothing that you could have changed or affected, and now you're screwed.
Oh yeah, you do feel a little bad. The first person you have to go kill is the pot witch, or the witch of pots, who is a witch that makes a whole bunch of pots. And in fact, her grandson, she tried to turn him into a pot because pots are immortal. So she wanted to help him live forever, so tried to turn him into a pot, but only turned his head into a pot. So he is, you can see the joke.
Yeah, speaking of Zelda though, is that like, is he the natural foil to her, or Link, I should say? uh Destroyer of many pots.
I think that's also part of the gag. Yeah.
Like, he anyways,
Yeah.
uh it looks cute, looks fun. How are you enjoying it?
Oh yeah, I'm very much enjoying it. It plays super well, super smooth. Moving around feels great. The dodge feels great. The attacks all feel wonderful. The boss fights are the right level of challenge. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, nothing about it has felt frustrating. I feel like I play a good number of indie action adventure games, and a lot of them can feel really frustrating. They don't quite have that level of polish that a AAA game would have, but this one really does. This one just feels great to play. And even if I like the story, I kind of want to see where it's going. But even if it was awful, I would still want to keep playing it just because it's something that's genuinely fun to play.
It looks like it has a lot of character, which
Yeah.
is nice.
Oh yeah.
Like,
You you do meet some wonderful characters too. At a certain point, you will get into a little diner, and the diner has like a guy behind the counter, and if you eat a meal, he'll like give you some hints to secrets in the world. But the thing is, there's like a squid on his back, and the squid has like tentacles kind of wrapped around the guy's arms. And as the guy talks, he's like, "Oh, hi there, fellow uh, person. I'm absolutely not a squid. I'm just a chef here to cook up your seafood because I love to cook with my human hands." And so you can tell that the squid is actually puppeting this guy, and the squid on his back is actually the chef that's just puppeting this weird guy. Let's see if I can get a video of it,
that's pretty
because
great, actually.
it's great when you see it. Oh, inner furnace observation, ceramic manor.
State of the Witch.
Urn.
Oh, that's an urn. I can't
Yeah.
read apparently. I like Witch better, mainly because no reason. Anyways,
Dungeon flooded. Oh yeah, there it is. Stranded sailor. There, you've got the fisherman with like a beard.
the clearly dead fisherman.
Yep.
That's great.
And you can watch the little crow just eat his meal. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
so I
it's
mean,
a super charming game.
they clearly knew where they were going with this and what they wanted.
Yeah.
That's nice. Okay, that's pretty cool. Uh, should you done with the game then? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
That's Death's Door. I highly recommend it to anyone who wants to play.
And I'm sure I've been playing most games, but the most recent thing I can remember for my next game is Dying Light 2. And kind of worried about bringing. Do you want to bring up some gameplay for it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool. Do all the work for me, Nick. uh, so I'm enjoying it, and I've played it primarily with friends, so I'm a little concerned that that might be skewing how I feel about it. Um,
Okay.
Also, I've played about 25 hours, and I have yet to leave the first area because of how I play games.
Okay.
For
I've
my
heard that it's very, very long.
Okay, a little backstory to that. The people Techland put out a tweet that was like, "You would need 500 hours to complete this game," and by complete they mean do every side thing imaginable and
Yeah.
like do every collectible. Um,
I didn't think that they meant that when they tweeted that out.
According to a YouTuber called from the channel Skillup, uh, he played through it and he said it takes about 20 hours to play the main story if you just blitz the story. Like every time you finished a bit, you went to the next bit of story. And then if you just kind of did side quests and side stuff as you're playing, it should take about 35 hours to
Okay.
like complete the game. I'm at 25 and I've maybe completed a dozen quests because I'm stupid and I just run around all the time.
You're
And
just going around collecting collectibles.
that and just kind of doing the parkour and screwing around with friends. Uh, there's little windmills that you can go up, kind of like towers from any Far Cry game.
Mm.
And they're not like super complex, but I went and got all those first. Like I do all the side stuff first. And so I'm 25 hours in without really getting into the story. And it looks like, from what I've seen, you, it's not boring, but you definitely have more fun when you have more options as you get later into the game, if that makes sense. Like you don't want to do what I've done and stagnate on like the early stuff. So I'm having fun with it. I'm a little worried that it's because I'm just playing with friends, and not that it's a bad game. Uh, it's just that, to me, it's like someone went to a team and was like, all right, here was this really cool game, Dying Light 2. It has parkour, it's zombies, and here's all the cool things about it. And they gave it to this team, and that's what the team recreated, right? Like parkour, zombies, and all of that. And it is very similar to the first game, but without some of the magic that made the first game great, that made it such a standout hit.
Yeah.
A lot of like the crunchiness of the game is gone. Like in the first one, you're able to kick people, and you're able to kick people in this. But in the first one, when you kicked them, they would like stumble dramatically, and if like they hit a spike wall, they'd get stuck in the spike wall, and you'd see spikes hopping, like sticking out of them, right? When you're hitting people, if your weapon like hit somebody and they didn't die, it would bounce off their head, like it would stop the swing. A lot of that weight to the feel of the game, like that when you're hitting somebody it's bouncing off, when you kick somebody and they stumble and hit something, a lot of that weight is gone, and you don't realize how important that was to the overall feel of like combat. Does
So
that
how
make
long?
sense?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. How long has it been since you played the first one?
3 or 4 years since I last
Okay.
picked it up.
Because
But it's been
it's also been that long since I played the first one, so I don't think I would even notice that going in. I'd have to play them like back to back to see that, because that is what I really enjoyed about the first one, is the kind of visceralness of the melee combat of
yeah,
the attacks.
and some of that like carries over, but like you notice that when you swing your weapon, it always has follow through. No matter what you do, it doesn't feel like you're hitting anything.
Hmm.
It feels much more gamey in that way. And when you use the kick, it just feels way weaker. And yeah, it was incredibly overpowered in the first one, but like that was kind of the point. Like
Yeah.
that felt good, that felt fun. And not that this is a bad game for not having that. It's just I find myself missing that. If that makes sense.
Yeah. It feels lesser than the first one, even if it's not bad. It's just not as good.
Like I said, it feels like someone went to the team and was like, all right, they really love parkour zombies. That was what they loved about Dying Light 1. So let's make a game where we really focus on the parkour and the zombies. And they succeeded in making that game. And that game's pretty good. Just, one was slightly better in like almost every aspect outside of that.
Okay, so what about the parkour in this one? Because I've heard that it is better in this one.
There are more options, and it feels better. Like the maps were really designed around this parkour system. Again, like someone went to this team and was like, parkour zombies. So they built the game from the ground up, ready for that parkour. Right? Like that's the main feature of this game.
So better parkour, not as good combat.
Combat's serviceable. It just feels way more gamey than, like I said before, than 1. Looks good, visually stunning. I'm playing on PC, and I have a lot of my settings turned up, but it looks visually great. Not much there. The story is serviceable. It's not great. It's not like maybe even good, but it gets you to point A to point B.
Okay, I remember way back when they first showed this off, they made a really big deal about how your choices would change the world and factions would like come to hate you or come to love you, and that you could decide on like how this society evolved with your choices.
Currently, there's only 2 factions that you get to choose between: the survivors and the peacekeepers. The peacekeepers are this kind of, as you might imagine, police force that is separate from the survivors. It seems like they moved into the town like kind of at the start of the apocalypse. And they're a military organization that has all the weapons and people and like top-down structure. But with that becomes like authoritarian. Like they're very authoritarian. You listen to us or we'll beat the shit out of you. Like we'll arrest you.
It kind of sounds like the typical villain faction.
But they're not villains, really. They're
authoritarian police. That kind of sounds like a villain.
I mean, you're not wrong, but in the game, they're not. We're talking about a post-apocalyptic world, right? So the survivors aren't great either. And the crux of the story is, at least for the first part, is one of the commanders of the peacekeepers got murdered, and your job is to kind of figure out who that is. And that's the first part of the story before you really get the chance to make choices. I just got to the point where I made the first few choices. But like the survivors are kind of they're typical survivors. There's a leader. It's kind of anarchy in a way where it's people just working together to get things done. But it's rough. And it's rife of who's ever strongest is in charge. Whoever has the manpower can kind of like take over. So it's not great. And like the game opens with you going into like their main area, and they try to hang you.
Oh,
like at the very start, like they don't like outsiders.
Sound like very pleasant people.
Exactly. That's kind of why I'm like, they're not, the peacekeepers aren't evil, but it's more of a, there's not really good guys here.
Okay.
Like these people literally, like you break in, you've been bit, and they're like, oh, who's this guy? Oh no, he doesn't have this like biometric thing on your arm. He's an outsider, and they just try to hang you in this bazaar right away. Like you just enter, and they're like, yeah, kill him, yeah, kill him, and you get saved. So like that left a bad taste in my mouth. That didn't like. These people aren't great.
Yeah.
You play as Aiden, which is a pilgrim. Pilgrims are people who survive outside of cities. They like, that's their main thing. They run, they travel, and most people don't do that. And it seems like most people die within 2 to 3 years if you're a pilgrim. but it also comes with like the connotation that you did something bad. Like you left the town for a reason, so no one really likes pilgrims.
Yeah, like you've been exiled.
Yeah, you murdered somebody, so you left.
Okay.
Like,
Okay. Do you
so
know
this,
what your backstory is to make you that, or is it kind of mysterious?
it's kind of left vague. Trying to redeem the name Aiden. Yes, it's Aiden Pierce.
That's why you got kicked out. It's because you're named Aiden. Everyone else is like, that's a douchey name. Get out of our city.
You're looking for your sister. You
Okay.
don't really, you know that you've been out being a pilgrim for about 4 years. What's happened in the meantime, you don't really know. You just started getting clues as to where, like, your sister is, but you don't really know where you lived before, what you were doing before, outside of like flashbacks as a kid.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it's parkour zombies. Like, if you like parkour, if you enjoy zombies, there's good odds that you might enjoy this game. Like, it's not bad, but know what you're getting into. I had a friend who was like, "Oh, I'm so hyped to play this. Watching you guys play has been so fun." And they picked it up and they were like, "I'm not really feeling this. I don't really like parkour." Like, it's like you knew that before you went in that you didn't like parkour. You didn't like parkour in the first one, and this game is just more parkour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds fair. It is what it has always promoted itself to be, advertised itself to be, but not much more than that.
Yeah, pretty much. The choice between the two factions.
I don't think I ever started sharing my screen about.
Oh yes, we could have had gameplay this entire time.
Yeah.
Wow, Nick. Wow, why aren't you like picking up the slack for my game that I brought to the table?
Yeah, you can watch this slightly blurry gameplay now.
I have a friend and he's playing like the opposite story path, right? He's kind of like siding with the peacekeepers. I'm siding with the survivors. The biggest change is if like you choose the peacekeepers, you get access to certain tools and traps and such. If you choose the survivors, there are more free running things in the environment, like trampolines, zip lines, or landing bags, which are essentially boxing bags that you can tackle and it'll let you hit the ground without taking damage.
Oh, cool.
The actual like missions, so like all great story games, it's kind of the illusion of choice in that all roads lead to the same places. Like, you still do the broader story quests in the same area. But there does seem to be some actual differences between, like, the paths. Like, you do different things.
Okay. I mean, I would hope there's some difference between it. Otherwise, what's the point of...
Well, I have seen choice games where it's like, that's not really... That's a palette swap. Like...
Yeah.
And the missions are different, which is pretty good.
Okay.
That is a nice change. But like, for instance, we're going to this power plant, minor spoilers, to screw over the peacekeepers because I'm the survivor, right? My buddy who joined the peacekeeper, or who's helping them, ended up like they're trying to get past them. They're kind of blockading this area till they find out who murdered this person. And they're like, all right, we'll let you through since you helped us find the murderer. And you don't know if this is actually the murderer, but you found evidence for it. So like, okay, you can go through. And then halfway through, you find out that they went and bombed the power station. Like, so the vents close and you're going through this metro station, so you have to leave before you die. You have to back out. And then you have to go to the power station and deal with that. So like, both sides you go to the power station.
Okay.
But the reasoning's different. If that makes sense.
Get that. Yeah.
Which is decent. Like that's the best you can hope for, I think, out of a story game. You can't expect like
especially
4 games in one.
This big. And I do have an update from Edie. She probably won't be joining us.
Oh,
Because things have gone wrong. So she didn't actually find what she needed to find.
oh no.
So yeah.
Well, I hope you have a lot of news, Nick.
I do, but like I don't want to drag this out too long.
Okay, good. That's
Especially
fine.
without Edie. But we can just talk about like the biggest news of the past couple weeks, just like a couple items.
Yeah, that's fine.
Mm.
But that's kind of my overview of Dying Light. It's it's good. It's enjoyable. I'm playing with friends. You can play up to 4 people, and it's honestly fucking hilarious to play with 4 people. The reason being,
It's a lot of
uh,
people to play with.
it's 4 people total, 3 friends. Just like the first one. So there's a quest, for instance, where you corner this one guy, and you're like, I'm gonna tell on you for poisoning the water supply that you sell. And he's like, well, I'm not gonna let you out of here. And so you start a fight against one guy, and you have 3 friends with you, and then you just beat the ever living shit out of this one guy because it's 4v1, and it's it takes all threat out of the fight, but it's hilarious
Oh,
watching 4 guys just wail on one person. uh, Me and my buddy, every time we're in a boss fight now, I'm like, all right, fists out, like fist fight, like we're gonna punch this person to death instead of using weapons, and it's pretty great.
cool. That sounds
Oh,
like the way to play with
and
friends.
then in one particular instance, we had a flashback, and all of your buddies are with you in the flashback. So it's like, oh, this explains a lot. Yes, Andy Patty,
Time to run
no Edie,
amok.
and yes, she will get you those speakers. I speak for her, and she will have speakers sent to you soon.
Oh yeah,
Totally.
yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
so
So
yeah, flashback, and we all start running around in the flashback. It's like, oh, it's me and my split personalities in this flashback or vision. It's having multiple people there kind of breaks the story experience,
yeah,
but
like
like in
there's
a fun.
yeah, there is no narrative excuse for having like co-op buddies with you the whole time because there can't be.
Yeah, and they're just
And so
you.
they just decide, screw it.
All right, but yeah, that's Dying Light 2.
Okay. I have been playing a game that has quite the title. It's called Ender
Spoilers.
Lilies, Quietus of the Night. Of the Knights? Yeah, Knights, plural.
Oh wow, thanks. All right, 1 second.
And it's a colon, not a semicolon.
My bad.
But this is basically a classic Metroidvania game. You know, you're running around a 2D environment. You'll you'll encounter various locked doors, and then eventually find abilities that let you get through those doors to progress, and so on and so forth. What makes it different is that each of the abilities you get are these spirits. It takes place in this kind of dark fantasy world where this rain has kind of corrupted everything. And so you play as this little girl who can purify things. So you kind of go through and start purifying creatures and monsters. Um, and this time I actually will share the screen.
Good, good.
So as you purify them and get these new abilities, uh, like you're summoning these spirits to do things for you, but in gameplay, you're just pushing a button. So even though you're playing as this little girl, whenever you dodge, she's the one that dodges. Whenever you get in a fight, she's the one that's getting hurt. But when you hit attack, this like ghost appears and does the attack for you. When you summon like something to throw, like a bomb, you kind of summon this slug that goes flying out in front of you and then blows up. And so it's just a very interesting aesthetic to see this like little girl taking part in these like really brutal battles, but then she's always summoning these ghosts that will do some fighting for her. And so it's cool that you're technically playing as like 4 people at once. It's just every button press is kind of a different character coming in to do something.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And the way that they interact with each other is really neat because like the ghost that does the basic attack, you can summon them an infinite number of times, but a lot of the other ghosts you can't. You have limited number of uses. And so generally that's not an issue like as you're exploring the world, but when you get into a boss fight, then that does become an issue. Then like this ghost that I can only summon 20 times, well, it's pretty easy to do that over the course of this boss fight with 3 stages. So to compensate for that, you have these 2 loadouts that you can switch between. And so you can fashion a different combination of ghosts for each loadout. And so the first guy I got to, I sort of realized, well, this combination of spirits of ghosts works well for their first couple phases. Then for the last phase, I want this other combination of ghosts. And so that freed me up to really just kind of spam some of the summons and just like, yeah, do all of them at once, get through them, because when I get to the 3rd stage, I'm going to switch to a different loadout, a whole bunch of different ghosts. The whole number of summons is going to reset, and I have like new abilities at my disposal. And what's neat is it doesn't just get you thinking about how the different ghosts can be used in combination with each other, but how you can use the different loadouts in combination with each other. So at a certain point, you get the ability to go underwater. Some ghosts can be summoned underwater and others can't. So you want to like have a loadout that's water-based and a loadout that's land-based. And it just does a really good job of making each of these ghosts feel unique, while at the same time, like making you think about the tactical combination of how to use one in conjunction with the other. And it helps that, like Death's Door, it plays really, really well. I've gotten into various boss fights that are really, really hard, but I've never gotten frustrated with the game as I'm playing it, because whenever I die, I feel like, okay, I can do this better next time. I've got this. I can beat him. I just need to do better. And so it's that classic good fight design of always making you want to, the moment you lose, I don't think, well, that's it, I'm giving up. The moment I lose, I just want to get back and try it again.
Yeah, that classic Dark Souls kind of fair feeling where it's I just need to do better. I need to get good. And every fight you can kind of take away something.
Yeah, every fight you learn their move pattern a little bit more.
Yeah. It looks very like stylistically awesome too.
It does. It's got a really good look to it. Most of the world is like a very, dingy gray and black because you've got this evil rain that's corrupting everything. But your main character, the girl, is just like all white. So she really stands out from the environment, which is good because there's a lot of stuff in the environment that can like hurt you. And the fact that you're summoning these separate entities to do fighting, I think it could very easily get visually confusing. Yeah. But because she stands out so much, it never does get visually confusing. Awesome. Even when I'm summoning a whole bunch of guys on top of each other, I can always tell like where she is on the screen.
Yeah, who's your character model?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. I mean, it looks like pretty awesome.
Yeah,
I like the idea of essentially summoning your attacks from people.
Yeah,
that's cool.
It's really cool, and especially once you realize that you can put some of the infinite summons within the same loadout, then you realize, oh, like I'm not limited to what I can do with these combinations. I can combine any guys together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what do you think of the story so far?
Story's okay. I'm not entirely sure what's going on, other than this rain has corrupted the world, and this little girl woke up from like some sort of, not test tube, but cryo chamber type, fantasy cryo chamber. And a ghost was like, "Hi, I'm I dedicated my life to protecting you." It's like, oh, okay.
Are you
There's
very far?
not too far. I think I've beat a couple bosses. I think I'm maybe a quarter of the way. I have no idea.
Yeah. And so, do
I
you get the spirits of like the people you beat as well?
Yes. Every boss you beat, whether it be like a mini boss or like a main story boss, you get them as a spirit. So as you explore the world, you can run into like mini bosses, and all of a sudden, just, oh crap, I'm in a boss fight now. I was not prepared for this, and so that's always a fun challenge to stumble your way into. And then once you know it's there, you can go back better prepared.
Yeah,
Um, but you want to get into those fights because you'll always get a spirit at the end of it.
it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, even when you find a fight that's tough, you're encouraged to keep fighting because you get a very tangible reward out of it.
Mm-hmm. Sweet.
Yeah,
Uh,
highly recommend Ender Lilies. I don't know what the Ender Lilies are. I don't know what the Quietus of the Nights are, but it's a great game, even if the title is a bit much.
right. Anything that has a colon has a bit much. All right. No, that seems like legitimately pretty cool. If I wasn't playing a dozen different other things, like
Mm-hmm.
uh, that
I was
individual.
looking for the remote because I want to turn on the TV. Oh, the remote's like over there. If you want to like get the game ready.
Did Edie show up?
No, talking to someone else.
Oh, okay, so
Um,
not only did you invite Edie and other friends,
oh
I
yeah,
get to make the
I invited everyone I knew except for you.
show. Okay, wow.
I mean, if you didn't live in, I forget where you live. What state do you live in?
I'm not gonna tell you. I want you to guess.
Oh God, I know it's like the Midwest. No, it's not Midwest. This is like, it's not Michigan. Illinois is too far to the west. It's not like Michigan or Wisconsin. Is it Ohio?
Everyone always says fucking Ohio. Everyone. It's Iowa.
Oh, Iowa, Ohio. Like they're practically the same state, right? Who knows?
Ohio is mildly more boring than us. All right, just slightly, and we're gonna take
Okay,
that W.
Iowa is the cool state between the two.
Yes, it's like a cool version of Ohio.
I want that to be Iowa's like state theme. Iowa, the cool Ohio.
Right. No, literally everyone who tries to guess my state, they're like, I know what you said, but my brain says Ohio. I may be playing fetch with my cat, so I apologize for constantly throwing things.
Oh, that's fine. Did people see that remote catch? I want people to realize that was a smooth catch.
Everyone, he has basic and hand-eye coordination.
Yeah.
Really impressive for a gamer.
Mm-hmm.
AC Ray, are you from Iowa?
Oh, do we have multiple Iowans? Iowa? What do you call yourself? Is it Iowans?
I guess. From Iowa.
You
Oh,
Iowese?
okay, well, never mind. Nope, I thought I wasn't alone, but anyways.
Oh, maybe
Alright.
he's in Ohio. Oh, have you been talking? Oh no, he's in upstate New York.
Okay, so he's cool. That's what that says.
Mhm.
I'm interesting. I live in upstate New York. All right. My last game is, of course, Escape from Tarkov. It has consumed my life. It's not my last game. I've played other things. Like I've played RimWorld slightly. I've played. There's a new MMO called Lost Ark, and I guess I can get into that.
Oh yeah.
But yes, Escape
Okay.
from Tarkov. I've mentioned it several times. Every, I want to say 6 months or so, 5 months, they wipe, which means they get rid of all character progression. And it usually comes with a big update. And each time they try to do something different, and each time they try to stretch out the mid game. For instance, Blood Reaper says, "Hi, kitty." You know what, Opie, come here. I'm
He says
jealous.
hi too.
Mine's not as lovable as yours, but he does come sit on me. You know what? My cat plays fetch. It's better than yours.
It's not a cat competition.
It is.
You're right. It is, and mine's better.
You know what? Look. Mine keeps bringing back this fluffy taco that I throw, and he brings it back. So I win.
Mine will play fetch like once or twice, and then he gives up.
Literally his favorite game. I can throw it 60 times, and he'll still bring it back to me and like, throw again.
Yeah. Oh, that's cute.
But yes, Escape from Tarkov. In this particular one, they removed the ability to sell on the like player market the highest end ammo and the highest end armor. And what this ends up doing is it stretches out that mid game, because now you don't have people who know exactly what they're doing and like going in, getting that best gear, chatting up immediately, and then suddenly you have end game characters. It's very
And so the last time we talked about this, last time you talked about it, they had done that wipe and kind of reset everything that you had.
Yes, they did that here too. And
so did they do another one recently?
Yes, they did it about a month and a half ago.
Okay. So how are you at getting all your stuff back?
So I am farther along than I've ever been in the game.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I'm
Okay.
level 33, and I have like almost my entire base set up. So you remember that like crappy shithole that I used to live in?
Yes.
I have an actual bed. I have a PS4 and a flat screen TV.
Oh, wow. You've got entertainment things set up in your place now.
Yes.
Okay. No longer just the bucket to poop in?
No. I have a full out porta potty in there now. So
okay.
You know what? That's pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, by removing the ability for it's a snowbally game. Essentially, when you get enough money that you can buy the best armor and the best weapons, suddenly you roll in, and anyone who's like shittier than you, like people who haven't gone as far, or you have a much greater chance of beating them.
Okay.
If you don't have a face mask, getting shot in the face still kills you in one shot. But when your gun doesn't bounce around like your, I don't even have a good metaphor for this, but when you're not shooting like from a action movie of like all over the place,
like a shaky cam.
Yeah, you do better. You just do. You can actually hit your shots. And by removing the ability for people to get that sooner rather than later, you stretch out your mid game and you make it way more fun.
Okay. So do you think like by getting rid of that player sold stuff, they've kind of balanced a lot of the mid game and made it better?
Yeah, because now people have to actually like unlock that ammo either from like finding it, which will run out quickly, obviously, or like doing quests that unlock it from traders, and that just like, that takes levels, which takes time.
Cool.
So then it ate my life. Every waking moment has been me playing that. Not really, but pretty close.
You think of Tarkov at work, you dream of Tarkov at night.
I play Tarkov at work.
Okay.
I may have bought a gaming laptop for the sole purpose of playing video games at work.
Because that's what you wanted to get the Steam Deck for.
Yeah,
right?
And I just bought a laptop. Like, I was sitting there and I'm just like, it'd be really fun if I had a laptop to screw around with, because on the weekends I'm supervisor, And it sounds like I'd have more to do as supervisor, but as overnight supervisor, you have nothing to do. So yeah, I play video games at work on the weekend.
Okay. Like, yeah, why not? I mean, if you're just going to be sitting around anyways.
So yeah, I play Tarkov. I just farm out like the scavs and technically I shouldn't have a laptop AC Wraith like at work, but no one's around, so no one tells.
Okay, it's not just like Alt Tab into Microsoft Excel.
Yeah, no, this is I have a work computer that's sitting there, and then there's a laptop in front of it.
Okay. Well, see, you put the work laptop on top of the game laptop, like what people did with like books, where you have like the textbook and then the comic book on the inside.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that works with laptops too, right?
Kind of, because the screens are like sitting up, and I'm like, I have the screens in front of my laptop, so if anyone walks in, because I'm in a corner, they can't see it. So it's
just
exactly,
make sure that the fun laptop is smaller than the work laptop, so it can fit.
No, these are like full monitors, so like.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, so I can just shut it and then put my coat over it, and no one will see it. Handy pandy. I spent a lot of time playing single player. Squads in Tarkov is fun, but it can become a lot because if you're in a gunfight, you constantly have to keep track of people. And what we do is we keep Discord open, and everyone in the squad streams, so that you can see on like a different monitor everyone's point of view, so you don't accidentally shoot your teammate.
Oh, okay. That's a cool way to get around that.
But like, it's still like, if you're in a gunfight and you don't have long to react, and someone walks around the corner and they're like, "That's me," and you're just like, dude, and you drop your teammate. It's a very sad day. Yeah, and Andy's right. Like, in that game, you get like sweaty, like 2, 3, 4-man groups, because you can have up to 5 people on a squad, and the max player count for most maps is like 10 to 14. So if you're rolling deep with a 5-player squad, like, you're a third of the player count of that map.
Okay, so that kind of makes it. You can, with a whole bunch of friends, you can just go into a place and kind of own it.
If you're good, yeah. I mean, obviously there's those people who can drop 4 people with good aim, right? But yeah, if you're rolling deep, it's good. The difference, the like downside is, you have to split loot you find 5 ways. Like, that becomes the issue.
No.
I just roll in with like a pistol and no gear and hope for the best. Like, if I can get a cheeky kill, I steal all of their gear like a rat, a little loot gremlin, and then I'm like, yeah, I'm geared up. And then if I die, like, I don't care anymore.
You're not technically losing anything of your own. You're just losing their stuff.
Except a pistol. Yeah. So like, if I can get that one cheeky kill, I slowly just gather loot and like leave fully geared.
I mean, that's, from what I understand, that's kind of how you play the game, right? Is you just want to amass that stuff. And then on those rare moments when you feel like, okay, I've amassed enough of other people's loot, I'm going to go in fully kitted out and hope that I come back alive.
Or like when you get enough money that you can afford to just kind of buy that stuff and run it, which I'm not at yet. But yes, it is incredibly satisfying when it happens, when you go in with a pistol and then you leave with like 400k worth of gear. However, there are instances where like I mentioned, you can have a face mask, and if you have like a level 5 helmet, a face mask, and you have like the top end gear in the game, I've watched videos of people like walking at people with pistols and just like taking all the gunfire, just being like, "You fucked up, boy."
Because they have so much armor on?
Yeah, because they have like a face mask that pistols can't shoot through. So like, they'll get shot.
No matter, it's not like the armor will break after a while. It just doesn't do any damage.
It'll break, but like, if it takes a full clip to break you, they have a gun too, right? Like, you don't come in with the best gear in the game. How it works is ammo has a damage value and then a penetration value, and then a armor percentage damage value, which is how much damage you will do to armor based off of your total damage, like the total damage the bullet does.
Okay.
So if you come in with like no penetration bullets, you have to hope that you either hit like an arm or leg or hit them in the face. And if they're wearing a mask, you can't hit them in the face for the insta kill. You can shoot them in the legs, but that's only so useful. Like if they're walking a gun that'll like one shot you, the odds are great you won't win that encounter unless you get to like sneak up on them.
Yeah.
Those are called thick boys or chads. Like some people come in hella thick. Fun game though. If you want to lose your life, if you like the idea of a very punishing mechanics in your game, the real like you really lost something. You love that feeling of loss. It's like Tarkov.
Like it does sound cool, but I don't think I would like the 6-month wipes.
Oh, losing all your shit.
Yeah, I feel like that would break me.
You don't. Okay, first of all, they change a lot every time they do it. Like this one, they added a whole new map, right? You reach a point where like the early game is the most fun. The middle game is like where you're going to end up most of the time. That's where most of your play hours is going to be. And it's not as fun as the early game, but that's where you really start to feel the progression that you're making. And then you have late game. Late game is for chads and tryhards. I'm not a chad and tryhard, so you fall off at the end game.
Okay.
You just stop playing. So then when a new wipe comes along, it doesn't feel bad to lose that gear. It feels like, oh, I get to play again at the funnest part of the game. And then I get to feel that progression again.
Okay. That actually, yeah, that sounds cool. The fact that, yeah, you amass a certain amount of stuff, and then it's like you realize, oh, the fun was in amassing the stuff. Once I have it, it's not quite as fun to use it. So when 6 months comes and it gets wiped, it's like, oh, now I have a chance to collect all that stuff again.
It's more like it's fun to amass and use it, and that's mid-game. Late game is everyone has all the best shit, and you're fighting everyone with the best shit. So, that's no longer fun. Like, it's no longer fun when everyone's tryhard. So, does that make a little bit more sense?
Yeah.
So you look forward to the wipe. And as Andy says, yeah. Early wipes tend to be more even gears, and so it's a little bit more fun. Okay. And yes, thick with 2 C's stands for close combat.
Appropriate.
Actually, they have things in there called like thick cases that are spelled THICC. Thick case, like.
Is it because it's like close combat cases?
No, it's just because it's a thick boy.
Oh, okay.
So you have like item cases, and then you can get thick item cases, which are like larger versions of those. So it's just a thick boy. Good stuff though. Tarkov's fun.
Okay. So I think that's all the games we've played.
Yeah. I can mention more of Lost Ark, but I'm gonna wait. I forgot a game.
Okay.
I'll try to hit it quick. Project Zomboid. Have you ever heard of it?
Sounds familiar.
So it is a 10-year-old game now. If you want to look up gameplay of it, it's this kind of isometric view of a zombie apocalypse game. Zombie simulation apocalypse game. You play in Kentucky, and you can start at any one of the like areas that they offer. There's like 5 different starting points. And I don't even know how to like describe this game. It is very brutal, but kind of fun and fair, if you know how. zombies provide an ever-present threat, and if you get bitten in the game, you're going to die. Like, there is no zombie cure. You are not immune. If you get bit, you die in like 2 to 3 days. You turn into a zombie.
Okay, so is it another survival game like any of the other survival games?
It is. Like, you have to eat. You have to sleep if you want. You can turn some of this off and adjust the sliders for it. But like, there's canned food, and you have to find a can opener so you can eat the canned food.
Oh, jeez.
I
do kind of like this vision cone that they've got going on for a game that's, about running from zombies. The fact that it only shows you what your character is facing at any given time, and the fact that everything around you is then black, so you have to actually constantly check your back.
Yes, there is a bit of a radius around you, which is your hearing radius. So like, if something gets really close, you'll know. But like, that's within a few feet, so like, you're in danger if you see them at your back at that point. But yes, your vision is completely dependent on actually what you can see.
Very paranoia-inducing.
Exactly. For the first 2 weeks, you have electricity and water, but after 2 weeks, those get shut off. So fridges no longer work. So if you have frozen or cool food, those will spoil unless you've collected a generator and gas to fuel that generator. However, if you leave a generator inside of a house, you'll die from monoxide poisoning. You have a set of skills that you have to like build up, and that takes a shitload of time, like first aid, foraging, fishing, stuff like that.
So how far have you gotten in this? Have you been able to survive the 2 weeks for the power to go out?
No. I rarely make it like 3 days for any given character, because I play really risky.
Oh, okay.
But when I first started, I didn't last even 24 hours.
Wow.
There's a steep learning curve for this game. It is fun though. Like, it's legitimately fun. My only issue is that I play a bunch of different things, and this game has no end. So I often don't play it as much as I would want, because it feels like I sink so much time into it, and I don't feel like I'm moving towards a goal. The whole point is just to survive and build up your character.
Every time you start it, you're basically starting from zero because it's a new character.
But you can join when you die. You can remake your character and join the same map. So you can go kill your zombie self. Like,
okay.
You can go your back. You can set up a base that you can go back to after you die. So like, you drop all your stuff off if you've been bit, and then go run and die and make a new character. But so
you can kind of amass stuff, and like, you can make a base. It's just that technically other characters, even if they're played by you, will then find that base and be able to use it.
Yes.
Although if you spawn in the same map, is there any guarantee that you spawn nearby? Or do you have to go on an adventure to find your previous house, your previous base?
You can choose to jump into like city chunks so you can get close. And if you know the map well enough, you can go find it. But you won't spawn on top of it.
Yeah.
But the thing is like, you can lose months of in-game skill process. If you don't pay attention, you get bit in the back. Like, if you get bit, there's no saving you. You're dead. So you just got to go through all your gear, like, in your base, and then die and start over on a new character. Like, so if you spent months in game leveling up stats, that's gone. That progression's gone. And it hurts. It hurts a lot. I've lost 3 days of progression, and it made me want to cry.
Oh, that's the zombie apocalypse for you. You got to watch your back.
And you can, of course, adjust in it. Like, it's very customizable. Like, you can increase the stat gain if you're playing alone or playing with a group of friends and you want to skill up faster. You can turn down the amount of zombies and stuff like that.
Okay, that's cool.
But like, you can pick up furniture and move it in front of a door so that if they break in, they can't get past the furniture. You can break down and build your own base if you want to, like build your own fence, start a little farming plot of land, all sorts of stuff. You have to wash yourself and your character. If you cut yourself or get like hurt, you have to bandage yourself, and you can rip up clothing to do that, or you'll bleed out.
Jeez.
There is so much of that in this game, and it's pretty great. I'm not gonna lie, like it's fun. If you leave it, you have to turn on a stove so that you can put food in it to cook it. But if you leave the stone on, you can burn down your house.
A game where you have to remember to turn off the stove.
Yes. As you can see, the graphics aren't really the important part of this game, and I don't know how old this video is, but in December they had a graphics overhaul.
Okay.
It
I
still
think
looks
this one might be a
similar.
little older, so it probably looks newer than this.
It still has that old like RuneScape feeling, but
Yeah.
because they do that, it seems like they focused on mechanics rather than visual fluff.
It's about the sim.
Yeah, and it's pretty fun. Like if you're melee attacking, you cannot fight multiple zombies at once. You can maybe fight two if you're like safe.
This is not Dying Light 2.
No, if you're fighting 5 zombies at once, like you need a gun, and if you're using a gun, you're going to be attracting a bunch more zombies. And they have like certain events, like the helicopter event, which is a helicopter will fly over looking for survivors, and if they see you, they'll follow you. But now you have a helicopter following you, like outside of your screen, but you hear them, and all of the zombies all over town will head towards your location. Like the entire
What good comes from having the helicopter then?
nothing.
Oh, okay.
It's an event like to screw you over.
Oh.
We were playing a game and we had set up this nice base, and the helicopter event had started where we had 2 of us in our base, and we left, and when we came back there was about probably 150 zombies there. And
I think you could take them.
we did. It took hours. But we did beat them all. However, there were so many zombies in our house that while we were walking around, we were getting queasy.
No.
There was so much blood and gore in our base now, and it was going to take so long to clean that we're just like, we're going to start over. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Like, you can pick up zombies and move them, but, like, that takes time.
You're going to do that 150 times.
Yeah.
That's cool. The type of game that you have fun stories like that of. The emergent stories.
Yes. And this kind of has that gameplay, and it focuses on the sim of it. So it's just beating a zombie to death.
With a frying pan.
Yes, this is an older version. They have updated the graphics.
Okay.
And like the cars, for instance, in this game, each part, like you can have your wheels, your brakes, your hood, like your engine, all of that has a health percentage bar. And if any of that breaks, you have to go take that from another car and try to fix your car. Just go get a new one. And that requires getting gas in it, making sure it's running and not damaged. Like there's this whole thing.
Andy Pandy says it looks like 7 Days to Die with the mechanics.
Yeah, I mean, in a lot of ways it is that. 7 Days to Die really focuses on like your classic survival gameplay, where it's like, first person. You have like the hotbar of like weapons and stuff. It becomes much more actiony. This never feels like it gets super actiony like that. You can get a gun and you can get really good shooting. Like you can start to kill zombies and handle them well. And occasionally you'll have to go out and like clear the area around your base. You don't have zombies coming at you. But it's its own beast, and make sure you play on survivor and not like apocalypse setting like I did, because it defaults you to the hardest setting.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so when I started, it was literally me running around town because there was like 15 zombies behind every house, and I didn't know how to play or fight. So it was literally me running around for 10 in-game hours, and then I just died because I got exhausted. And I couldn't run anymore. Because your character will tire out.
That's mean, starting you on the hardest difficulty. in the video, we just saw a zombie come from behind that you couldn't see
Yes.
until it entered your listening cone.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. I could see how this gets really tough.
And again, the threat is I turn it off so that scratches can't give you a % chance to turn into a zombie, because I don't want that. But if you get bitten, it's 100% chance to turn into a zombie. So yeah, you don't want to get, if you're playing with that like default, if you get scratched, there's a chance you'll turn into a zombie. And you don't have like stat bars telling you how hungry you are. You just have moodlets. So you wouldn't know that you're turning into a zombie. You just start to feel queasy. Then you're like, oh, I'm getting sick. And you're like, oh no, I'm dying. I'm dead. The best thing about this is the character creator. So you have positive and negative traits that you can choose from, and you can choose a profession. So like if you're a burglar, you have the ability to hijack or hotwire cars. So it's a very easy way to get a car if you can't find a key for a vehicle, because you need the key for a vehicle to drive it. And finding those can be hard. So if you choose the burglar, you can hotwire them. But that takes a certain amount of positive points. And you can take negative traits to balance that out. But you have to be at 0 or positive points to be able to play that character. So I often choose obesity. My character has very low fitness, get exhausted easy, and is prone to injury. But I get plus 10 points to put on my character so I can be lucky, or I can be a hunter so that I have better shooting, like starting stats. You can be a police officer, which also gives you shooting stats, or be a firefighter, which helps you, like, you start with an axe in a firefighter outfit.
I'm very invested in watching this random YouTube video. This person was like walking around these households, and it's like just 1 or 2 zombies, and it seemed very doable, but then it just kind of escalated, and now she's got like 4 zombies walking around her, and she's just slowly managing to take them out one at a time, but not quite doing enough damage.
When you knock down a zombie, you have to stomp their head or like finish them off, or they're just going to keep getting up. And eventually you might kill them with melee attacks, but like as you can see, this is an arduous process.
Yeah.
That is not easy. And again, this changes a bit with the new version. Like, it looks a little bit better. The animations are a little bit cleaner.
And obviously this is on PC. Is it on Steam?
Yes, it is on Steam.
Okay, cool.
But yes, fun game if you're into this kind of thing. Where's my 10 points? All I have is some sort of pinched nerve. I know, I want my 10 points too. But no, you can choose stuff like being a smoker, for instance. You have to go out and find cigarettes and a lighter or matches. And you'll have to smoke or you'll get anxious. But that'll give you bonus points, right? Like, that'll give you stuff that you can like add to it. I wish you could find like some of the character creator stuff. So you
I can at least say that the person playing this survived to the end of their first day. So
nice.
Congrats to them.
I recommend, if you get into it, play it if you want, but look up like a survival guide for like the first couple days. That'll give you an idea of how to fight zombies and like the best way to survive. That's what I ended up having to do.
Okay.
Fun game though.
Okay, that's the games we played. And so in the interest of like, since we didn't do it last week, there's like a ton of news, but I don't want to get into a lot of that with just the 2 of us. So I think probably just talk about the biggest news of the past several weeks.
Sure.
Which is that Sony bought Bungie.
Yes, I heard about this. I don't really know the details of it.
So I do. I need to actually. I should have opened these tabs before. So they spent $3.6 billion, which seems like a lot for Bungie, who only kind of has 1 game going. But I guess like a solid $1.5 billion of that was to retain talent at Bungie so that people don't like jump ship. Because I guess a lot of the employees get like half of they get a bonus for the acquisition. they get half of it immediately, and then like the other half is spread over 6 months to a year to try to encourage people to stay with Bungie and not leave after this got bought.
That's pretty cool, though.
Mm-hmm. And I guess it maybe, I don't know how Bungie employees feel about this, so maybe this is a way of like keeping them on as opposed to there being some loss of talent after this acquisition.
Yeah.
Which I feel like that happened with some recent acquisition. I can't remember what it was. Anyways, but I know Sony has since then gone on record and said,
Oh man, you're going full robot now.
"Oh no, I'm freezing, going robot." Oh,
Yeah, it's not great. Not gonna lie.
I don't know what to say. My internet connection, nothing has changed about it.
That person, whoever came in, is using your internet. Kick them off. Only one person can use your Walmart internet.
Yes, I don't have my own internet. I'm leeching off my neighbor.
Ah, that would make a lot of sense.
Okay,
yeah, it's not.
No,
it's not great. You have like 10 pixels updating like every minute.
I don't know what changed.
Could just get a lot of peak traffic considering Super Bowl's about to start, right?
Yeah, I think it did just start. Yeah, it did just start. So
you have a whole apartment complex streaming the Super Bowl now.
Yeah, that could be. Am I still like? Is my audio?
You're desynced like crazy, but your audio is coming through at least.
Then I guess I'll just finish this news story with the audio, and we can end it there. But yeah, the important part is that Sony said that they're not going to make Destiny exclusive. Like they have no plans for any of that. And for all intents and purposes, Bungie will remain pretty independent. And so I've seen speculation that they didn't buy Bungie because of Destiny. They bought it because Sony wants some live service game talent, because they specialize in making single player games. So they need a developer that's talented at making not that. And so they bought Bungie because of that. I would actually like to see that. Blasphemous has some cool art style.
Take a picture of it, turn it to an NFT, like just digital Nick.
Oh God. Yeah, let's get GameHounds on the NFT business.
So my personal thoughts behind this is obviously this must have been in the works for over a year, like some amount of time, because like these things don't happen quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But this feels like a reaction to Microsoft buying. Who did they just buy?
Activision.
Yeah, like Blizzard Activision.
Yeah,
like this,
I've seen like Sony might have moved up the timeline for announcing this because of that.
Yeah, that's my thought. Is that they need to do something that makes a splash to show that like Microsoft isn't just going to steamroll with this.
Yeah. And I've also seen something that says like they still have money set aside this year for further acquisition. So again, it's just set off a chain of events of consolidation and developers buying developers.
Like my biggest concern about this, and like the thing that bothers me the most, is it feels like we're entering an arms race of acquisitions. Like either Sony steps up and starts buying stuff too, or Microsoft's going to eat everything. But even if Sony starts picking up everything, we're entering like just two group state here. It's either going to be Sony or Microsoft who owns all developers, and that's bad. Like a duopoly.
Duopoly? I think that's a word.
Yeah. Is I think going to be terrible for the industry. Like we'll get only AAA games from Sony or Microsoft, and then indie studios. Like that's all we'll have for, like the gaming market.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want that.
Yeah, I'm with you there. But we'll see what comes next because there's probably more acquisitions coming within this year. So
It also
this
puts into
is just the
perspective
start.
like Microsoft buying Elder Scrolls, Bethesda. Like we're back then, we're like, oh, they spent $6 billion, and Edie was like, oh yeah, they're gonna need to like turn that around and start making profit off that.
Yeah,
If it wasn't clear that they're not worried about short-term gains with these purchases, at least from like what they can produce, buying Blizzard for how much was it?
like
Like,
80 billion.
yeah, they don't care about short-term gains. There's no way they could make back 80 billion in a few years from Activision.
Yeah,
That gives them a bump in the stock market, and then that gives them more power for their Game Pass stuff.
yeah,
Like that corners the market for them.
yep. I agree.
All right,
Okay,
so
yeah,
everyone,
that was the biggest news of the past 2 weeks, and
we'll have more news next week, and we won't talk so much about like video games. Ugh.
yeah, who cares about video games? We'll talk more about TV.
Yes, exactly. We'll spend another 20 minutes doing that.
Exactly.
But the Super Bowl starting, I'm not sure who's here's interested in that or who's looking for that.
I will say, ex GameHounds host Chris Salazar, who's now a pilot, he's scheduled to fly the Bengals back to their city
Nice.
the day after the Super Bowl. So everyone should root for the Bengals.
Sure.
Bengals?
I'm
Not Bengals. Bengals is a bracelet. It's Bengals, like a tiger.
I have no idea. They throw
Okay.
pigskins around. That's what I know.
Yeah, live piskins.
Yeah, they just throw whole hogs like through the air,
Yes.
squealing and everything. But yes, everyone enjoy your football if that's what you're into. Apparently, Nick's having a party that I wasn't invited to, but I'm not salty. all right?
No, I don't. We don't invite Iowans.
Now you guys know why I'm catty. I mean, why we're catty. It's not just me. I'm sorry. Behind the scenes, because of shit like this, he pulls the shit all the time, guys.
Oh yeah, all the time. Just the other day, I had a party in Iowa.
Yeah,
I was there with my crew, my entourage.
He rolls deep, guys.
Oh yeah, it's all cats.
That would piss me off even more. Do you not understand how much I love cats? Like, fuck people, but if you roll with cats, wow, Nick, we're not even. I don't think I can do a podcast with you anymore after that one.
Okay, yeah. We'll see if there's even a GameHounds next week.
This is the end. Tune in next week to find out. Cliffhanger.
That's right. Yeah, and on cliffhanger. But
All right, everyone. Have a good one. Hopefully, we'll have more news next week for sure. And
Yes.
Edie will be back.
yes, everyone wish Edie good luck in taking care of her business.
She's been on the toilet forever. It's this entire time.
No, it's not that. It's not. It's no health issue, thankfully.
Come on,
Okay.
Nick. We gotta play it up slightly.
Sure. No, just keep it
Alright.
mysterious.
Okay, yeah, right. It's totally not toilet stuff. All right, everyone, have a good day. That thing.
Bye.